Okay, so something pretty wild just happened in the world of cybersecurity, and it involves one of the most popular pieces of software on the entire planet.
Just start with a number, 14. What's that? Well, that's the number of high-severity security bugs, the really dangerous ones, that were just discovered.
And get this, it only took 2 weeks to find all of them.
And we're not talking about some small, obscure app here. The target was Firefox, a browser that security researchers have been picking apart for decades, making it one of the toughest nuts to crack out there. So, how on earth was this possible? Well, the answer came from a joint announcement by the AI company Anthropic and the browser maker Mozilla, revealing that their most advanced AI model was the one behind it all. And this isn't just a small step up, folks. This signals a massive shift in how we find software flaws. And just to put this into perspective for you, those 14 bugs, that's almost 20% of all the high-severity flaws found in Firefox over the entire previous year. I mean, that's not just an improvement, that's a whole new ballgame in bug hunting. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Mozilla themselves are saying it. They compared it to the early days of fuzzing. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, fuzzing was this revolutionary automated technique that totally changed cybersecurity by just throwing tons of random data at software to see what would break. So when Mozilla says this new AI approach is on that level, you know it's a huge deal. Okay, so how exactly did an AI pull this off? Because this wasn't just a case of pointing some simple tool at code and crossing your fingers. No, the method they used was way more sophisticated. The AI Claude basically acted like its own autonomous researcher. It scanned thousands of C++ files and found its first critical bug in about 20 minutes. We're talking a use-after-free vulnerability. That's a really nasty memory bug that can let an attacker run malicious code. But here's the kicker. It didn't just find the bug. It wrote up detailed reports, provided patches, and even created proofs of concept. It was reasoning about the code just like a human expert, but at a speed that's, well, not human at all. And this is where things get really interesting, because it highlights the huge difference between this and what many developers have been dealing with. You see, for a while now, open source projects like curl and Python have been getting buried under what developers are calling AI slop. These vague, often just plain wrong bug reports that waste tons of their time. What Anthropic did was the complete opposite. It was specific, it was actionable, and it was actually helpful. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. Mozilla's own engineers basically said, yeah, we were skeptical of AI reports, and for good reason. But what we got from these guys was different. They knew this was the real deal. But here's the thing. Anthropic isn't alone in this, not by a long shot. What we're seeing here is the very beginning of a new AI-powered arms race in cybersecurity. I mean, look at the players jumping into the game. You've got Google's Big Sleep AI, which actually stopped a live hacking attempt. You've got a DARPA competition where AI's found 86% of the hidden bugs. A startup called Expo shot to the top of a major bug bounty leaderboard in just 90 days. And Anthropic itself, they found over 500 zero-day vulnerabilities in total. This thing is spreading like wildfire. And if you really want to wrap your head around the speed difference, just look at this. That startup, Expo, completed a series of penetration tests in just 28 minutes. The same set of tasks took a human expert 40 hours to do. That is an 85 times speed advantage. Just let that sink in for a second.
All right, so this brings us to the really crucial question, right? What does all this incredible new power mean for the good guys versus the bad guys? This is the central tension of this whole story.
So right now, there's this really fascinating imbalance, and it actually favors the defenders. Anthropic discovered that while their AI is super cheap and fast at finding bugs, it's still really expensive and pretty bad at weaponizing them. It cost them around $4,000 in computing credits just to make 2 crude, unworkable exploits. So finding the flaws is getting easy, but using them, that's still hard. For now, anyway. But, and this is a big but, here's the warning. Coming straight from Anthropic themselves. They're basically saying that this gap, this advantage that defenders have, well, it's probably not going to last very long. The technology is just moving way too fast. And listen, this isn't some sci-fi far-off future problem. It's happening now. Anthropic has already pointed to a case where Chinese state-sponsored hackers used a similar AI for attacks, with the AI doing up to 90% of the work by itself. And a recent report from CrowdStrike shows an 89% year-over-year jump in AI-enabled attacks. The race is definitely on. So we're in this really unique, kind of temporary moment, right? AI has handed security defenders this amazing new tool to find and fix countless hidden bugs. They've got a head start, but the attackers are right behind them, racing to turn that exact same power into a weapon. So the only real question left is, for how long?